Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 3, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for episode 22. It's insane just saying that. And the title of this episode is Infantino Street, but before we get into anything else, let's actually watch the trailer.
Hello, Flash. I need your help.
I know you're gonna do whatever it takes to save me, but don't lose yourself in the process.
Getting rather violent at your young age. We need to steal an alien power source.
The Flash, thief. It's my kind of mission.
If we don't use this, Iris is going to die tonight. Can't believe they turned King Shark into a guard dog.
King Shark. That's adorable.
So wow, this episode looks like it is going to be quite a lot of fun with the return of not only one villain, or I guess a villain in the form of Captain Cold, but two with the return of King Shark, who we were introduced to last season. First earlier on, I think it was like the episode where we're introduced to Earth 2 Harrison Wells, and then later, which actually ended up being the episode where I think we got Zoom's identity revealed right at the end. So that was a pretty action-packed episode. Now, this is the second last episode of the season, that, it's episode 22. So we should expect something pretty damn big to happen during this episode, especially towards the end or right at the end of the episode, almost like a cliffhanger leading into the finale. The episode title, as I said before, is called Infantino Street, which is interesting for two reasons. Firstly, it is the surname of the creator of a certain character you may know of. His name is Barry Allen. And secondly, it is the street that Iris is actually killed on. So that park that, Savitar does his big execution is on Infantino Street. So we will probably see the introduction of that final plan against Savitar later on in the episode, and the trailer sort of does suggest that. Now, there has been a synopsis or a description for this episode released, which we will quickly go over, but before we quickly go over it, if you do go on to enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it, as well as, if you are new to the channel, being sure to subscribe. With only 24 hours left until Savitar murders Iris, Barry struggles to save the woman he loves and makes the choice to use any means necessary to do so. Realizing he has one option left to save her, the Flash turns to Captain Cold for help. So the trailer opens up and begins with Captain Cold doing quite the comical spin to face who else but the Flash. Like, the way he turns around is just very cheesy, but it's very Captain Cold. You can see that in the background we have the Wave Rider, which of course is the vehicle of choice on Legends of Tomorrow. So we get it explained pretty early on how Captain Cold is alive in this episode and where this episode takes place, as there was some confusion thanks to that sizzle reel trailer from the other day. So we know that, it's going to take place in present day because that's where Barry needs to go. But the fact that the Wave Rider is present, this really opens up another question. Does Barry travel through time to find Leonard Snart or Captain Cold? Or were the Legends at one point just chilling in 2017 at one point at like the perfect time, and Barry just snags Leonard Snart for a quick minute? And also, I wonder if we will see any other Legends show up or a cameo, or maybe we'll just get like a voice clip or something, like one of them yelling out or something, who knows? We do hear Iris say to Barry, "I know you're going to do whatever it takes to save me, but don't lose yourself in the process." This is actually quite an important line, seeing the reveals over the past two episodes with a version of Barry, or like a timeline of Barry, being revealed as Savitar. One thing to point out is what Iris is actually wearing. She does appear to be wearing what she had on when we saw Savitar kill her earlier on this season. And you do also see this scenario again right at the... Oh no, it wasn't even at the end of the trailer. Like some point during the trailer, just in case you had forgotten what she had worn on that night. But anyway, as we should all have presumed once we saw Captain Cold in this trailer, he will be helping Barry break into Argus to retrieve the alien technology, that of which belonged to the Dominators from the crossover earlier this season, which is going to be able to power that Speed Force bazooka that was designed by Tracy Brand. I wasn't 100% sure if it was the Dominator's technology at the end of last episode, as you would have known if you watched my review, but a lot of you backed up my thoughts, which was great to see. But a few of you might be wondering why Barry needs Captain Cold to get the technology. Couldn't he just speed around and phase through the walls and then get the technology, then speed away? Well, yeah, he could, but seeing that this is Argus, I'm pretty damn sure they have some extra security and secrets to prevent someone with Barry's abilities from getting easy access to their properties. Seeing that Captain Cold, or should I say Leonard Snart, was a bank robber before donning the woolly hood and cold gun, he is a pretty good ally for Barry to have at this time, as he is quite the expert in this field, and I'm sure there will be some pretty comedic moments between the two when they're sharing the screen in this episode. Obviously, at the conclusion of last episode, when we learned of the Dominator technology being with Argus, we also learned that there was another villain, keeping their eye on the prize, if you want to call it that, and that was, of course, King Shark. Now, I don't think there will be too much King Shark in this episode, just based off the fact that he isn't cheap to have in the show, like he's a pretty expensive character to use. So I'm guessing the final part in which Barry gets the Dominator tech is the only part in which we interact with King Shark. I guess they could have a small part with him at the beginning though, similar to what we had at the end of last episode, just, reminding you that King Shark is protecting this Dominator tech, but I'm not expecting too much King Shark, as I said, just due to the cost of him. Now, one part in the trailer that does go by very quickly, but I'm sure the majority of you would have caught it, and it was a struggle between both Wally and Savitar. Now, this should be a pretty interesting part of the episode, as Barry will be busy retrieving the alien tech from Argus, so the other members of Team Flash will be preparing for the showdown with Savitar because, Iris only has a limited time to live, so you think they would be busy trying to sort all that out. Now, it wouldn't surprise me though if this is Savitar sort of like intimidating Wally, making him scared of what is about to go down, making him believe that his sister is definitely going to die. I don't think this is going to be that thing that we saw in like 2024 where Wally was all like messed up. I don't think this is going to be something similar to that. But it could be something where maybe Savitar has to learn of something. Maybe he doesn't know about something that, has happened. And maybe he bullies Wally and bashes him up just to get that information. And Wally, he's like getting stronger as we go along, but he is, can still be easily broken. So maybe Savitar manages to, mentally break him. Not to the point of what we saw in 2024, but make him reveal some information that Savitar doesn't know, and he needs to, complete his plan. We also do see like Cisco vibing, and I don't know if he's vibing Killer Frost or he's vibing something, but when his face pops up, Killer Frost pops up. So I don't know if we're going to get that vibe Killer Frost fight in this episode that we saw in the sizzle reel. It wouldn't surprise me, but there does seem to be a lot going on in this episode. But I guess if they want to spread all the characters out and, quickly jump in between them, I guess that could work. But they might leave this till the finale, their little fight. But seeing that they have a little moment in this trailer, it might quickly happen in this episode. Obviously, last episode, Killer Frost was sort of like jumping in between Caitlyn and stuff like that. So maybe Cisco's going to jump at that opportunity and maybe try and get her back on the team. Because I think Killer Frost is going to go against Savitar and could possibly be a reason for his downfall, the fact that she turns against him. We do get a quick shot of the Speed Force Bazooka, as Harrison Wells and Tracy Brand have so graciously named it. Now, it's only quick, but it's basically saying that we're going to see it in action this episode. Now, this gets me thinking, and I'll talk about it in a second, like in more detail, but it makes me think that things are not going to go right at the end of this episode, and maybe things go as bad as they possibly could. But I'll mention that at the end. Just because we're seeing the bazooka go off in this episode, that's the only reason I'm thinking that. And it makes me think next episode might be like sort of like a repeat, if you want to call it that. But I'll explain that in a second. One thing I forgot to mention will be the last thing before I talk about what I think is going to happen due to all the Speed Force Bazooka. In the crossover early this season, Barry learns about Captain Cold's death and his sacrifice to save the rest of the Legends. So it's going to be actually really tough for Barry because he knows that, Snart goes on from where he's leaving, wherever he leaves at the end of this episode, and he's going to go and sacrifice himself for the Legends. He knows that, so Barry could possibly change or maybe tell Snart or something like that, and we might see Captain Cold at the next season if he's back alive, who knows? But if not, and Barry just lets him go and just decides I'm not going to mess with Timer even more, it's actually going to be a tough moment for Barry because Barry, just thought of Captain Cold as sort of like a villain, didn't really care about anything else. But then he learns in the crossover about his sacrifice and stuff like that, and it completely changes Barry's view on Captain Cold. So I am very much looking forward to seeing how Barry deals with that because I think it's going to be very tough for him, but I think it could actually be a very strong moment in the episode because Captain Cold and the Flash's relationship in the comics is actually a really good one, and it's probably one of the better villain-hero, interactions in the DC Comics universe. So, You don't want to lose Captain Cold out of this universe, so I'm hoping they do something interesting with the character where, you know, Barry can interact with him from time to time, but I am looking forward to seeing how they end things in this episode and, you know, how they, you know, leave it off and where Captain Cold could possibly go. And obviously I'm going to talk about, you know, what could possibly happen at the end of this episode, just based off the fact we see that Speed Force bazooka going off. I have a feeling they might jump at the chance, try and take down Savitar, and Iris still might die. So Iris is going to die, and Barry's going to have to go back in time and basically do a reset. Now, the best example to use of this is, remember in season 1 when Cisco dies at Harrison Wells and Barry accidentally goes back in time and completely resets things, you know, and then they move ahead and Cisco doesn't die. This could be similar to that, except Barry knows that he's going back in time, and maybe because he's only going back in time a short amount of time, it doesn't really affect things too much, and this could really change how things were meant to go with Savitar, or maybe this is exactly how they were meant to go. But just seeing that the Speed Force bazooka is going off in that trailer, it is making you think that they're trying to kill Savitar now. You do see Iris in some peril. She is wearing the exact same clothing. I don't know, it just seems that things could go wrong, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But let me know if you're in the same mind frame as me. Do you think they're going to, you know, try and do it all at the end of this episode? Things are going to go terribly wrong, and Barry's going to have to try it again at the beginning of next episode? Or do you think they're going to leave on a cliffhanger or something? I don't know. Let me know what you think of all that in the comment section down below. Of course, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll have all my Arrow stuff out later on when it finally airs. But until then, I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.